It's 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV for Monday, August 7th, 2023. I'm Derek Gilbert. Hey, big news. We are back on YouTube. We'll see how long we stay there, but for now, we are back on YouTube as well as our Rumble channel. Please subscribe, share, but better yet, get the Skywatch TV app, because we will not be canceled from our own app. That's one way to guarantee that the gatekeepers of big tech are bypassed. Tell you how to do that before the end of this program. Topic number 5 today, the U.S. and Chinese oil. Actually, U.S. oil sent to China. We now know that U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm had multiple conversations with the top energy official in the Chinese Communist Party just days before the Biden administration announced it would release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve back in 2021. This was ostensibly, that means allegedly, or it's what they told us, was to reduce high gasoline prices in 2021. Now, this is the same China, you may have heard of that nation, whose Hunter Biden-linked energy giant Unipec had bought millions of barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve release. You see, Granholm called China National Energy Administration Chairman Zhang Jinhua, who's a long-standing senior member of the Chinese Communist Party, for a one-on-one conversation. Lasted about half an hour. This was on November 21st of 2021. This is according to phone logs at the White House. Then on November 23rd of 2021, the White House announced a release of 50 million barrels of oil from the SPR, which was the largest release of its kind in U.S. history at the time. According to Fox News, Granholm's previously undisclosed talks with China revealed that the Biden administration likely discussed its plans to release oil from the SPR before it made that announcement public. Yes, China was aware that Biden was going to release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve before the American public. And as part of its announcement in November of 2021, the U.S. said it was releasing oil from the Strategic Reserve in conjunction with other major energy-consuming nations, including China. This was to fight high oil prices, we were told, high gasoline prices worldwide. But instead of releasing oil, China used the opportunity to stock up its own strategic petroleum reserves, meaning the Biden administration, of course, was lying. Instead of releasing oil stocks, China increased its own reserves and bought fuel from the United States to do so. Meanwhile, releases from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve have weakened U.S. national security and bolstered our adversaries' geopolitical leverage. This goes so far beyond just incompetence as to suggest a willful degradation of the United States' position worldwide. I don't know what else to call it. Now, look, I'm not carrying any water for Donald Trump or the Republican Party here. I'm just looking at the facts as we know them now. The Biden administration has drained the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, not just for political advantage. That would be bad enough. Artificially lowering gasoline prices by draining the SPR instead of, say, approving the Keystone Pipeline or authorizing new drilling, but then to sell it to our main geopolitical rival, China. This is just astonishing. Come quickly, Lord. Topic number 4, the war on cash. This is something we come back to time after time, and in the UK, this is a bigger news item than it is here, but we should pay attention here because it is here. It's just not as prominent because we've not seen, say, a Tucker Carlson or somebody of that ilk, a Sean Hannity, debanked, as far as we know. Nigel Farage, who's the former head of the United Kingdom's Independence Party, later the Brexit Party, currently a presenter on GB News, revealed several weeks ago that his bank, Coutts Bank, had debanked his accounts, closed all of his accounts for no apparent reason. Now, after he went to 9 other banks and they was told they didn't want his business either, he went public with the news. He also found out through documents released by the bank that the reason he was debanked had nothing to do with his financial transactions. It had everything to do with his politics. He was considered a racist and a xenophobe, and so they didn't want his business. Well, come to find out, according to Farage, that about 1 million other account holders at various banks in the UK have had their accounts closed for no reason over the last 4 years. 250,000 people a year just having their banks say, we don't want your business anymore, take your money, go somewhere else. Why is this happening? Well, because this is part of a bigger move to get rid of cash. Farage posted on his YouTube channel over the weekend that NatWest, the parent company of Coots, which, by the way, is about 39% owned by the government of the United Kingdom after the 2009 subprime mortgage meltdown. So you'd think they would have, government's interests a little more in mind than it appears to have. They just sent out a notice that comes September 11th, interesting choice of date to launch this policy, by the way. Come September 11th, NatWest will be putting limits on the amount of cash that people can deposit or withdraw in any given transaction, and even reserves the right to refuse to accept checks. They don't want to touch paper anymore. They want everything done electronically. Now, the government of Australia, Australian banks, kind of leading this charge where customers are limited to paper transactions, cash or checks, equal to about 250 pounds. That's roughly $400. This is part of the World Economic Forum's drive to get us all onto electronic currency, central bank digital currencies. Watch for this, because as I told you last week, according to a very prominent economist, the one who came up with the idea of quantitative easing for central banks, he has warned that central bank digital currencies are not currencies, they are systems of control because they're programmable as to where, how, and who gets to use them. Topic number 3, marriage. If you're old like me, you remember the wonderful film The Princess Bride and the impressive clergyman played by Peter Cook, who sadly passed in 1995. Marriage turns out to be that the one factor that is a better predictor of personal happiness than anything else. This latest research from the University of Chicago doesn't really fit the official narrative that you can just be happy by doing whatever you want. No, marriage is the best predictor of happiness for adults, and it's not even close. Wealth, prestige, education, those are all factors in it, but they pale in comparison to to marriage when it comes to happiness. According to their study, married individuals are a full 30% happier on average than people who are single. Researcher Sam Peltzman concludes, marital status is and has been a very important marker for happiness. The happiness landslide comes entirely from the married. Low happiness characterizes all kinds of non-married people. No subsequent population categorization will yield so large a difference in happiness across so many people. The difference is stable over time. It is about the same whether the unmarried state is due to divorce, separation, death of spouse, or never having married, end quote. In other words, when God created them, male and female, and intended for us to cleave one to another, that was part of his original plan. And now researchers are finding that it is actually the best design for the family unit. Topic number 2, Nessie and the Aliens. 2 quick stories here. First, the biggest search for the Loch Ness Monster since the 1970s, ready to launch later this month. Organizers will be using infrared cameras fitted to drones flying over the loch, while volunteers could also look for signs of Nessie while standing safely on the shore of the loch. This will happen 26th and 27th of August. Meanwhile, a film premiering next month will focus on a shadowy U.S. group which UFO researchers claim is helping to cover up the discovery of alien spacecraft. This is a topic that's in the news, so this film likely to get some attention. It will debut on Netflix next month. It's called God vs. Aliens, and it features interviews with 2 experts about a group called the Collins Elite. Now, this is a group that was written about in the book Final Events by researcher Nick Redfern, whom we met in Roswell, New Mexico during the UFO Festival in 2017. Redfern cited a gentleman named Ray Boucher, who is a clergyman, a theologian, and the former head of the Nebraska chapter of the MUFON Mutual UFO Network, also the founder of the Fortean Research Center, I should say Nebraska State Director for MUFON. And Boucher, in the interview, said that he was told about this shadowy group, which believes, reportedly, that UFOs are demonic and that they're here to basically steal our souls. Now, if true, this is, and I believe Boucher is telling the truth about what he was told, they are partly right, but their solution, according to Boucher, was that they want to establish a theocracy, an Old Testament-style theocracy following the law of Moses. And it's not clear how that would save our souls. If that is an accurate representation of a group that actually exists, well, then they need some better theology. They need to talk to better advisors who know a little bit more about biblical theology. My view, this is just my take, and I'm not talking to anyone directly involved in the investigation in the group or even Ray Boucher, although I'll have to rectify that soon. I think this is a psyop intended to make non-believers afraid that Christians want to take over the world, which just is not true. But there's nothing that the God of this world fears more than Jesus Christ and people who genuinely put their trust in him. Coming up, another example of why crooks are stupid. That's ahead on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make sure you know how you can get your copy of this incredible new book in the John Clash special offer. When you order the John Clash special offer, you'll receive his brand new book, The Law of Attraction, a gateway drug to spiritual heroin. This phenomenal new work challenges the very validity of the dangerous Luciferian, heavily popularized ideology that false teachers and gurus describe as the law of attraction. In this book, John also uses a solid biblical framework to debunk the so-called scientific selling points that the law of attraction is predicated on. But that's not all. You'll also receive the amazing DVD Beyond Supernatural that features off-the-record interviews with popular former New Age author and speaker Stephen Bancars, where he details his long history and involvement with the New Age and shares his personal testimony of deliverance through Jesus Christ. And as a bonus, this DVD also includes the entire original Skywatch TV 5-part series on the second coming of the New Age. Also included in this must-have special offer, the 2-part DVD, Occultianity, how the End Times Church is forming now in preparation of Antichrist, where Donna Howell and Allie Anderson walk you step by step through how a silent, complacent church is inadvertently laying the foundation for the bloodiest cult that the world has ever seen. All of these items hold a retail value of $75, yours now for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling, so don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special offer. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the John Clash special offer right now.
Item number 1 today, as long as we're talking about the war on cash, this is a different kind of war on cash, maybe a war for cash more accurately. Thieves used a forklift to try to steal an ATM in Sacramento, California. They bungled the job and managed to drop the ATM in the middle of a busy road there. This happened on Watt Avenue in Sacramento around 6 a.m. last Wednesday. Several troopers from California Highway Patrol called to the scene after a different pickup truck was not able to avoid the ATM sitting in the roadway and crashed into it. The video released by cops in Sacramento County showed how the ATM was taken from the back of the Safe Credit Union minutes earlier. One suspect seen ramming the machine off its platform as a second waited in a white pickup truck. But however, the forklift dropped the ATM. The thieves fled the scene. They've yet to be identified or located. Maybe not the best plan. Again, showing that all too often, for their good, crooks are stupid, for which we are thankful. Skywatch TV depends on your support to do what we do, and what we do is mainly support the work at Whispering Ponies Ranch. We operate and raise funds so that partner ministries like Teen Reach and Royal Family Kids working with children at risk don't have to pay a dime to use those facilities. During the month of August, for your gift of any amount, we will send you a copy of the book by Jonathan Brentner, The Triumph of the Redeemed. What do we have to look forward to when we cross over to the other side? It will be glorious. And for your gift of any amount, if you're in the U.S. or Canada, we will send a copy of Jonathan Brentner's book to you. You can find out more online, skywatchtv.com. Look for the red donate button or call us toll-free during business hours at 844-750-4985. Skywatch TV broadcast over the air around the country. You can find our broadcast schedule online at skywatchtv.com/channels. You can also watch us on your TV anytime You set the schedule. We'll be there. If you've got Roku or Apple TV, make sure you've got the Skywatch TV app for your set-top box, or better yet, download our app to your smartphone or tablet. As I said earlier, it's a way to bypass the gatekeepers of big tech. All of the video content and audio content on our app is hosted by a Christian company, and so we will not be canceled from our own app. Take a moment and download it. You can find the link for your device, whether it's iOS, Android, or Amazon Kindle Fire phone or tablet, posted at skywatchtv.com. The link is in the top menu bar at the website. Thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.